Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Stretch words like
T-minus 4 minutes.
Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Stretch words like
T-minus 3 minutes.
Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Stretch words like
T-minus 2 minutes.
Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Stretch words like
T-minus 1 minute.
Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm
T-minus
still
50
here.
seconds.
Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah.
T-minus 40
no
seconds.
sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here.
T-minus 30
say
seconds.
it clear. Real talk lives right here. Stretch words like
T-minus 20 seconds.
Spilling tea,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here.
Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday, y'all. We are in the house, so we're going to get into this. Let me send some shout outs to some people here in the chat. How's everybody doing? Thank you for being here. We got Sexy5612 in the house. Maurice Harper in the house, in the chat. Spiritual Rising. Rashonda, what's up, Rashonda? Little Mama Gray. Ray Bolden in the chat. 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜, Parental Advisory Alert. Yolanda Patterson, Tyler, Cicely Sales ATL, Tyler 41 is in the chat. All right, guys. So by now we know what happened, with the Karmelo Anthony case. But let me kind of give y'all a kind of update. So Karmelo Anthony was always appealing his conviction. He was always appealing it, but they were going to try to get a second bite at the apple by doing the, for trying to get the retrial, which obviously the judge ruled against. And I'm going to be honest, I was hopeful, but I know how those type of people work. They don't care if Karmelo was not treated fairly. Y'all probably know this already. They stick together. I was hopeful, but I was not surprised. So I was very much hopeful, but I was not surprised. What y'all got to understand is it's really not about, well, I shouldn't say that. It should be about Karmelo he wasn't treated fairly. They violated his civil rights. But when you understand those white devils, you understand how they operate. They don't give a fuck about that. All they care about is a crackhead that was using stuff they say is gone, okay? And supposedly, allegedly Karmelo did it. That's all they care about. If y'all was paying attention to the news, they are bringing up what Karmelo did when he was 6 or 7 or some bullshit. Like, what? Why are we listening to what Karmelo did when he was 6 or 7 years old? I don't want to hear it. I don't care. And not only that, again, they always trying to make Black people seem like they are so worse than what they really are. I know you guys are familiar with these games these kids play, because I hear my son, he'd be like, oh shit, screaming all kinds of, like, are you all right? You good? They be screaming all kind of shit. Did y'all know that those messages that they were saying that Karmelo, that was all game. The game, how you want to die or all of that. That's, y'all, come on now. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? But to try to make him seem like a monster, this is why I don't like them. Okay, I can never really like them or fully trust them. You know why? Because them motherfuckers don't like us, and they never will. And they will smile in your face and stab you right in your back. Okay, so I am not surprised. I'm not surprised. I started to grow a little concerned when I was told that the district attorney had his white tea ass in the courtroom. And it seemed like, from what people were saying, is he was intimidating the judge. Just making little comments in an intimidating fashion. And also, I understand that the judge was new to the case and didn't, know that much about the case. But the fact that this idiot was allowed to go on and on and on, and then frankly said, listen, this is how we do things. So white tea folks stick with white tea folks. And I feel like in this case, this is what happened. Okay. So it's not a situation to me as it relates to, okay, Karmelo didn't deserve an appeal, so that's why he didn't get one. If y'all think that this is about justice, this is very much about black and white, okay? They feel like they're better, okay? They have always felt like they're better, okay? And it just took me now to really be like, damn, these folks this is how these folks really are. Because in all honesty, Black people, we're really not that bad. Like, we don't really try to inflict pain on people. We don't go around trying to intentionally harm people. This is what they really do for real. This is what they do. And if you look back in history, this is what they have always did. We have just always been forgiving and all of that good prayer stuff. That's why somebody put some shit in my chat talking about praying. I'm not praying for none of them MFers. And I don't give a damn about his son, the first one or the second one. See, one thing y'all got to stop doing is stop forgiving and praying for folks and say F them folks, because that's exactly how I feel. Okay, we don't have to always feel sorry and pray. I don't feel sorry for no damn body, okay? None of those white tea folks felt sorry for Karmelo. In fact, you felt that it was necessary for him to get 35 years and your sons was a racist that was whooping your ass. Karmelo did you a favor. Okay, I'm just saying he did you a favor because your son probably would have took your ass up out of here. Now, we have a guest joining relatively soon in the next 10 minutes or so. I just wanted to kind of get started earlier, just to put some stuff in the chat here. Now, if you guys are new here, welcome. If you guys have been here, you kind of know the rules here. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. And if you guys have not, make sure you enable your bell notification. There are a few ways that you guys can support the channel. And I see some people have already, so I'm going to read those before our guest comes on. You can send a super chat. You can do two things. You can send a super chat just to send a super chat. You can send a super chat because you have a question. Now, if you super chat a question, I'm going to read it. If you don't, I just randomly read stuff, okay? Don't know who stuff I read. I just read it. If you want to Cash App, you can Cash App at Lakeysha Keysha. The PayPal is LakeyshakeyshaTV22@gmail. And then if you wanted to do Venmo, the information is Lakeysha Keysha Media on Venmo. So those are all ways that you can support the channel. Now, also, you guys should make sure to purchase your memberships. Tomorrow is Sunday, so I will be having a members only live. Now, let me read some of these. We got Soldier for God. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for the 100 Jews. We got Chill Will, the 10 Jews. Thank you. The Real Versace in the house. We got 10 Jews. Thank you. And then Cynthia is at Hogat. Hey, Cynthia, $4.99. Thank you so much. Then we got Chill Will again with the 10 Jews. And then we got Angelia Hightower. Hi, Angelia. Thank you for the 10 Jews. We got Holiness. Thank you for the 10 Jews. And then my girl in the house, One Unique Goddess. Thank you for the 10 Jews. And then we got SNG23. Thank you for the 10 Jews. Then we have Chill Will again. Thank you for the 2 Jews. Chrissy 1801. Thank you for the 10 Jews. And then Chill Will 409. Thank you for the 10 Jews. So we're going to get started here shortly. We got about 9 more minutes. So I'm going to put some stuff in the chat and then I'm going to read some of y'all questions before we get started. Because once we get started, Dwayne was in the court. He's going to pretty much tell us everything. I love having Dwayne as a guest because he is really good with telling his stories. They flow really, really well. After, he gets on and starts to tell us about, the court proceedings and stuff like that. If you guys, super chat, I will ask him at some point. Milton Brewer, hey, thank you for the $10. All that we shall overcome singing, keep it. Exactly. Listen to this, y'all. Milton Brewer says, all that we shall overcome singing, keep it. Exactly. Keep that shit. Keep it. When we will be bold enough to overthrow them and take justice into our own hands. We must get our own system and stop begging for justice. Something, because I'm not overcoming a damn thing. I'm not my ancestors. I done told folks this over and over. Okay? Because if you hit me, I'm going to hit you a whole bunch of times, not just one time. And I don't get my lick back. I get the ancestors' licks back. So, yeah, I'm not overcoming I'm just not, okay? I'm not singing no songs, no Negro spirituals. Hell to the no. Thank you for the $10. I'm with you on that. I'm over these people. They just it's I don't even have the words for it. You know, these people are, I don't even know. It's bad. But Dwayne will be joining us soon. Let me just check my phone, make sure. Send me no messages or anything. But yeah, we got a few more minutes. So I'll read some of you guys' chats. 19 years, got 35 years, poor baby. Well, and the thing about it, Cynthia, there has been multiple cases right there in Texas where they didn't get, I think it was one or maybe even two that got, I think one of them got 5 years and then one boy got probation. So it's just like, this was targeted. Like they literally wanted to set an example for whatever reason. For whatever reason. This is not about whether Karmelo Anthony is innocent or guilty. This is about them feeling like they have power to do what it is that they want to do. And this is why that punk ass judge did what he did in the beginning with holding Karmelo's file in his office. He needs to lose his license. He needs to lose his pension. He needs to get all of the smoke. And then the district attorney, when Dwayne will come on, Dwayne will even talk about how the district attorney perjured himself. I want his license too. Everybody license. Everybody needs to go. Everybody. They're all together. They all play together. They don't give a, when it comes to black and white people, they're not going to miss out on their social circles for justice of black folks. They just ain't gonna do it. Now, if for some reason they can give a black person justice and be able to be in those same circles, they don't care. But if it's going to cost them, you can just stay in jail. And that's just that. Because there would be no, how is it that Karmelo didn't get a new trial when it was proof that they had violated his civil rights? It wasn't, they even admitted it, but their reason for doing it was, oh, pretty much, yeah, we broke the rules, but we only did it because we needed to keep him safe. Is there ever a rule? Is there ever a reason to break the law? So we can just go break the law and then when we get caught, say, well, we did it for this reason or that reason. It doesn't matter why you did it. You cannot break the law and feel like that's your justification. It's unbelievable. But again, I am not surprised. One unique goddess said, I believe they don't want to give Karmelo a fair trial because then they will make their peers upset as if it's in a message. Yes, exactly. So this entire situation with Karmelo, I feel like, first of all, let's just say this. I feel like that judge was a punk. Based on what I was hearing and what the district attorney was saying to him, it was given that he was intimidating him. Like I said, when Dwayne comes on, he can kind of speak to it. But from what my understanding is, there was a situation where this particular judge let somebody out. I can't remember the specifics of it, but that person ended up getting out and committing another crime, which, I mean, people do that all the time. It's really not the judge's responsibility if you decided to go and re-offend. But from what I was hearing, the district attorney was like, yeah, you remember that case you had? And he was trying to, remind the judge about a previous case that he had in which he had let somebody out and this guy or this girl, whoever it was, had re-offended. But I think the judge was a punk to me. I mean, because they said that the district attorney was also saying, oh, you guys are complaining about the security, and these are the same security that's keeping you safe right now. Why is the judge allowing this man to say this? I would see, that's why I couldn't be in these positions, because I'd be throwing because in jail. I'd have been like, you're in contempt. You'll be spending the night in jail tonight. Who do you think you are, ho? Like, who do these people think they are? Like, you have, like, you just, and this is why these white tea people act like they act, because they're never held accountable for their actions. Do you guys know who Judge Bonda is? I don't know if you guys ever heard of her, but she has a YouTube channel, and I was watching her the other day. I can't remember what state she is, but she's a Black judge, and she looks extremely young, but she's actually older. She actually had a case in her court where she had a police son in her court. I can't remember exactly what he did, but the police tried to intimidate her. After she corrected and checked him, he put his hand on his pum as if he was trying to intimidate her. So she told him she was going to throw him in jail. Do you know what he did? He put his pum out at the judge. Yes, so these people are out of control. We'll have to talk about that later. Dwayne is here, guys, so we're going to get started. Hey, Dwayne.
Hey, how you doing today?
I am good. How's it going?
Oh, going pretty good, going pretty good. It's been a long week. It's going
Yes.
to be a longer couple of days of the weekend, but it's an exciting time, and we'll get into that. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was just kind of explaining to them. We were kind of getting into the case a little bit. I told them that I invited you because, you have the specific information. We're kind of going to talk about, some of the things. And I was just sharing with them. I just feel like, from my standpoint, I was hopeful, but I really didn't expect anything, just because I just know how this system works. Because I feel like, although it's clear that Karmelo's civil rights were violated, I feel like we have this good old boy system when it comes to these folks, and they rather be accepted in their social circles rather than set you free, even if your rights were violated. So start wherever you like to start. Like, I wasn't there. It's just, I just heard a bunch of stuff. I know I had texted you too. And that question was, when I was on someone else's, what was it, TikTok yesterday, I had overheard them saying that something, I think they said like a Zoom or something would go out in court, and that when it would go out, the bailiff would have to restart it or something, and that they would see Judge Roach in there. And I didn't understand what that was. So they were insinuating that Judge Roach could have been listening in, and that's why I sent you that email. And I'm like, Dwayne, did you see this? Was Judge Roach listening in on the hearing?
Um, to my understanding, I think I was trying to explain it out there to a few people too, because it really was an uproar. The way the systems work in the court, each court is assigned pretty much you want to say a live stream Zoom type moment and set up to where you see the judge's bench, you see the witness stand, you see both sides of the gallery where the defense and the prosecution would sit, and usually with the assigned judge of that court, that's the name you're going to see under there. What they were explaining to me, and I spoke with several people just to get a understanding. They were saying that you would see the boxes, and it would have the seal for the judge. It would have all these different things, and all of a sudden you see a split screen, and it would come up, and you would see Judge Roach's name, and that split screen is pretty much set up the same, and it's the same feed. And so I just kept trying to ask people, exactly, take the shock and the awe out of it and tell me exactly what you saw, because sometimes our perception is marred by the shock of what we see. And
Right.
so, and they said it kept coming and going, kept coming and going. So whenever it popped up, the people hurry up and got it off of there. And like I told him, sometimes we have to remember that Judge Roach, regardless of when he was recused, what happened to him, and how it happened to him,
Right.
he's still the presiding judge of Carmelo Anthony's case. He just got removed as a person that cannot now no longer make decisions on this case. And so technically, if you look at any case that has a judge recused, you would still see their name, but you'll
Yeah.
see whatever the motion or whatever's going, you'll see that new judge's name as the one that's making the decision or presiding. And sometimes you don't even see them. You just still see the judge that was removed. And then
Copy.
later on, you see that they signed the order or whatever. So it just really depends on the laziness. Let's just go ahead and be real of the clerk of the court, not the actual clerk of the county, but the clerk of the court, and also the people who handles the technical issues in that moment. Sometimes they're lazy, and then we have to remember as well as Judge Michael. I can't never say his last name right, so I ain't gonna say it with the c word. Chitty is I think the way they say it. Um, he actually just got this case right after Judge Roach was recused that night. He had to
Mhm.
drive in that same morning, come in, and so people don't know, but that evening when he was assigned, they actually put his name on there as other, but they had the whole trial they had the whole motion hearing canceled. And so myself and others, we kept calling and bugging them for about 2 hours to see what's going on because it's showing counsel. When people see counsel, they're not going to come. And so, but I knew that witnesses and other people and lawyers said, hey, yeah, we're going to be here tomorrow. And so at the end of the day, we had to really get people involved. And I think overall, I think the lawyers for Karmelo called and got the people to correct it and they put
Oh,
them on there. So, but it was not even on the calendar at that point in time. I'm talking about under Carmelo's name, under Judge Chitty's name, or on the actual docket for the court itself at that time. And so I think they were marred with a lot of errors as
okay.
far as what they were doing. And I don't know if he was actually watching. I'm not going to say that he was or wasn't. I think
Right.
if he was sneaking in and watching, it wouldn't have been on the Zoom. That way, he would have probably been in the back office somewhere watching with the other people.
Right.
Because we did have a lot of surprise guests. Guess the
Right.
best way to put it. I don't know officially or unofficially, but they did come, and I'm talking about surprise guests that's on the higher end of the Texas political spectrum. And
Right.
so there was a lot going on during those 3 days.
Right, right. Okay. Yeah, the way you explained it makes sense because although he was recused, everything went so fast, they probably wouldn't been able to, you know what I mean, change it. And then this
Yeah,
judge came from a whole nother place. It's not like he's actually set up there, you know what I mean? So okay, that
correct,
does make sense.
correct.
And
Yeah,
like
and
you
so
said,
like I told people, we're not gonna excuse the moment that he possibly could be, but if we're in his shoes and we want to sneak a peek, I don't think that direct Zoom
right,
call would be my choice to sneak in
exactly,
and view it. I think I would do it a different way to where I know I'm not in a
right.
place. So if one of them did call me to testify, then I know I'm not going to be in a crazy position.
Right, which does make sense. I mean, he's been there forever. Even if he was listening, I don't think he would probably put his whole name on there, right?
Yeah, yeah. And they said it kept popping up and all of a sudden it'll go off. So I told him that seems more of a technical issue than it is
Okay.
he's listening issue. Because if he wanted to listen, he just hide back in the judge's chamber and cut it
Right,
on to listen. And
right,
nobody would be the wiser, So sometimes we have to think ahead and think above of what the moment is because I know it was a lot of emotions out there, and people like myself, we have to sometimes get our own personal emotions, feelings, and all those things out the way because now you're directing the emotions of thousands. I'll put it that way. And I say that because you had people doing drive-by updates on their way to work, and you had people texting and calling. My phones basically were just I don't know what they're doing now, but the batteries went down so many times, and battery packs had to come from everywhere because so many people wanted to know what was going on. So I know the emotions were there, and many people just went straight to that moment. But because of the way the system works and the way that I know it works, if he was watching in that type of way, he wouldn't have
right.
been able to hide it, and we would know.
We would know. That's that. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Now, You know, I'm going to be honest. Now that I know the official decision, I feel like the judge knew he was going to rule this way then, but wanted to do it when, there was nobody there. We're going to do it on Saturday. There's nobody, at the location. What are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like he
Uh,
made his decision yesterday?
I think that his decision was made for him, and I'll put it that way. Probably Friday, right after recess, right after lunch. And I'm gonna tell you the reason. I'll say a few reasons why right now, because I'm still looking into some stuff. Like I said, today was supposed to be a day with my grandkids and doing some other stuff, and just kind of digressing and finding out some stuff on this. But I've been really on an investigative mode on this situation with a lot of different people all over the place. Um, if people really been paying attention to the docket, at first we had what they would call a clean docket on this motion to recuse, and also the motion to get a new trial. So that means that it was only the parties, the interest parties only, and all of a sudden we had some individuals that felt that they needed to insert themselves and become relevant to this moment, as they did also during the original trial and case. They decided to file briefs and file motions and file third party affidavits and call. Yes, I said call. Call the court, call the judge, call all kind of people, and actually record themselves doing it. And so the judge, and people have to remember, when you're trying to fight your case, your biggest threat is other things. Your biggest threat is other people and other things. And so
Right.
your lawyers, that's why lawyers don't like you to have certain people around, because if those people do the wrong thing and that judge gets that, then guess what? It becomes part of the case. And when it becomes part of the case, and if somebody says one word wrong, it can take away your whole paragraph that was about to get you the action that you needed. And I'm just going to be honest with you. From what I saw and heard, and the way that the judge looked like he was leaning coming out of Thursday going into Friday to granting this motion.
Mhm.
Um, in that moment, like I said, he received some phone calls and
Right.
they received some other stuff, and some other people in other parties did some things. And I think when the judge got everything from everybody, a lot of the things, because you got to remember, they began to lean heavily on the Waller versus Georgia,
And
and less on the ineffective assistance of counsel, because you had those people actually testifying that they were ineffective, and so
right,
you didn't really have to make that argument. And if you
right.
notice, when the prosecution came back after lunch on Friday, the first thing they did was come up himself. So Bill Worski came up himself, and his whole dissertation of all of that dialogue was basically to rebut the Waller. That's
Mhm.
what it was about. And
Mhm.
because that was the strongest part,
Right,
and
right,
that buffers up all of the other points. And so
right.
he just began to attack that moment. I'm going to tell you why. Because the individuals that decided to insert themselves really gave the judge an out when it came to Waller, because of what they were arguing and what they were saying. And they inserted themselves into this case in a way, like someone asked me, do I think that Tiffany Billions and people like that will be involved or relevant in Carmelo's criminal case, or if they will they be relevant in his civil case? And I told them then, not so much in the criminal case as that moment, but when it comes civilly and externally, they're going to be very relevant because of the way they inserted themselves. And that was just a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, we had that conversation. And now we're here to where this judge just made a decision. And I guarantee you, if you sit him down and talk to him off the record, he's going to tell you that the outside influencers had the most impact on my decision on Saturday. And I'm going to say it again. They had the most impact on his decision on Saturday, because they helped him cancel out the strong arguments and rebuttals that Russell Wilson and his team so eloquently and passionately and correctly argued. What they argued should have got Carmelo a new trial, and we would have seen how the system works on a long shot. Because in this kind of moment, there is a point zero, probably 8% chance for you to get a new trial in this fashion once the judge has been recused and all that. Usually you'll get it more when the judge is actually on the bench because the judge is looking at his own errors and they're more apt to control and fix their own errors. When you go into this moment to where you're removing the judge because they made so much egregious issues and problems, and now you get to the case in chief, you have to be able to argue your points cleanly without nobody else being asserted or nobody else rebutting or causing problems from what you're putting forward. Because guess what? The judge is not studying no case law. The judge is studying the case law you give him. And so if the defense is given and the prosecution has given, and if that's all that he's looking at, Karmelo right now would be working on his bond. But since you had other parties that had their own bellies that they wanted to fill in their own self-interest, and they inserted themselves with motions and calling and filings and all that stuff, now you introduce laws and legal arguments into the case that is really not a part of Carmelo's case, but you just heard his case. Because as they said, and I just got through reading a couple of those moments and those motions that they filed and letters they sent, that they said they did not give it over to the defense. So if you're filing and you're a third party entity and you know who the defense is, why didn't you go to them first and share with them what you want to do so you won't harm the case? Because you're not interested in that. You're interested in your own coffers and your own problems. And I'm telling you now, just as I told people with the whole moment when he was going through the trial before, a lot of the people that claim to be on his side hurt him the most. And right now, we just seen that live in front of our face just happen on today because those very individuals hurt his case. And it's so sad because I was getting called from people that I shouldn't get a call from, telling me, hey, Dwayne, we seen you guys, what you were doing. Just know that these individuals hurt this case. And so that's where we are. And so we have to know that we as a people, and when I say we as a people, I'm talking about the folk that look like us and the brown folks and the folks that are not looking like the other folks. We have to know we cannot stand up all the time and be our worst enemy. We just can't do it. Sometimes take a chill pill. Sometimes sit back. And if
Well,
you're not helping, sit down somewhere.
so this is what I have to say, because I understand what you're saying, but what about that trash bag, Sarah? She was just as much, she was about 10 folks, all on herself, doing a whole bunch of stuff. So I don't understand why she wasn't called out. So I have a problem with that because you want to call out the black people, but you're not calling out this white trash that's on this here internet lying and causing mayhem with anybody that's black. So I can't,
Yeah.
I have a problem with that because she was not only causing problems, she was causing problems with people at the courthouse harassing them. They didn't
She
say her.
was, and she was. They didn't say her name, but they did call out what she was doing, and but they ain't gonna call it their friend. And
And
to be honest with you, the things that she did was not gonna affect anything internally in the court at all. It affected people outside in the family. That's what it affected. And so the thing is that again, we can't we can't expect for that individual to call out themselves. I guess that's the best way to put it. So if we're friends and family and we all roll together and ride together, I can't expect for those in the same car with that individual to call that person out. It just ain't gonna happen. And so we have to begin to get to that point to where we know what they're gonna do. I knew exactly what they were gonna do, but this was the cleanest pathway for us to see this system work as long as we all, and when I say we all, I'm talking about us, because we can't control Sarah. She was supposed to be on vacation in Peru and then somewhere else and then in Italy and some other place. But then somebody told me they seen her the other day at 7 o'clock come to pick up one of her friends. So it's at the court after she thought everybody left. So the thing is that we have all these things, but we expect for them to do what they do. What I did not expect is for the people that I know, and these people I know, from all this advocating for this year and some change, I didn't expect them to be a direct. Now, they already did enough in the regular trial. We understand that. We know that everybody didn't hurt it. But when it came to this, we thought that people would have a better mindset to stay out the way, leave stuff alone. Let's see Karmelo not get harmed by us first. And what we've seen is that he got hurt by us. We gave an excuse. And I'm not saying we did personally, but I'm talking about us as a people. Our folks gave them the ammunition to do exactly what he did today. He wouldn't have had that ammunition if our people just stayed out the way and not be filing briefs, not be doing this, not be doing that. And so when we do that, then we give stupid people like Sarah the free will to do the stupid stuff she do, and they don't have to call her out because guess what? He can just stand up and call out Tiffany and King Cass and all them people, and everybody be like, "Oh man!" And then they'll show the text messages of Karmelo, but everybody forget about the 20 pages of these boys being arrested and being on probation and all this other stuff. And Karmelo ain't never did nothing like that. And so those are the things that we see the diversion of, and we as a people, we get caught up on it. I listened with a friend of mine to about 100 women. When I say 100, I mean 100 because we had so many, we counted, and they all were mad because of what Karmelo said on the text messages about black women and Hispanic women and all that stuff. But nobody was still mad about what Sarah was doing and how she was doing. We've been flipped the script and we on Karmelo. So guess what it did? It gave all them people that was still wrestling with themselves if they were going to mess Karmelo over or if they were going to do him in. Last night, yesterday, when I looked, if that man, I'm talking about Judge Chitty, if he was in a position to buck the system, those people and individuals and all those people, I've seen these long dissertations, these posts, these YouTube video and lives and all that stuff. You gave him the free reign to go do what he did. Even if he wanted to buck the system and say, you know what, even though these people then filed these stupid briefs, even though these people then did all this, I'm going to go ahead and have the courage like the first judge did and say, you know what, I don't think that he really did nothing wrong, but dog, you said it yourself. So you got to go. I think he would have did that. But them people watch TV just like we do. They watch YouTube just like we do. They hear from people just like we do. And when
Right.
you have the same people that have been saying free Karmelo, now mad because he said that he prefer another color woman than you, and now you done threw the boy off the bus, and now you got a 3-hour long live on why you mad at him because he prefer another one. You don't know his experience with the black girls at that school. He ain't talking about you, grown woman. He talking about them kids.
I was going to say, probably 60. Why do you care?
Yeah, and so that is he ain't finna date you and marry you. So why do you care what his experience is?
Why does it matter? Like,
Yeah,
why?
and so that is the thing that we need to get better at is not giving the place. I can't. No one is going to jump one of us when 5 of us are around the corner and we're looking at you like, what you about to do? They would jump him if the 5 of us keep walking and not pay attention. See how that works? I don't know that person, but they look like me. So if I just stand there and look and make sure that you're okay, they're not going to do nothing to him. But if I just look and I walk away, and next thing you know, I'm reading on the news that this young man got jumped in that corner I just walked by because I chose not to care. And I think that's what we need to get better at. We need to get better at not letting the mood, and that's the reason why Bill Worski put all that stuff out there about Karmelo having behavior problems at 6 years old in school. What? And everybody ate it up, and them people was talking about it while the motion hearing was going on, and that's all I heard. I saw us complaining about Karmelo's background, and nobody said anything about all that stuff with Hunter and Austin, them potentially selling drugs. While Jeff Metcalf knew because he put his hand in his head while they was talking about it because he knew it was true. But no one, I ain't heard nobody even mention that yet. But everybody's talking about Karmelo and his choice of women.
Not over here because.
Oh, I know you haven't. Trust I know.
I mean, I'm 51 years old. I wouldn't give a damn if Karmelo decided he loved like Pete girls. What the hell do I
Correct.
care? I don't care about none of that. I only care about him being not, receiving a fair trial. I don't care what he said on no text message. I don't care
Correct.
about any of that. Because what I said is, which one of us have not said some crazy stuff over a text message? But
I'm telling you.
some of that stuff is lies because they said
It is.
I saw some woman over here doing a grown ass old woman doing a live talking about Karmelo was a stalker. I said, these people should be ashamed of themselves. You just get a headline. How do you go from supporting somebody to now you're talking about them just because of what the district attorney said? Did you have any more background information? So then I learned that they lied on her, that girl has been in court with the family. She was ready to testify. So I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah. And then Bill Worski, the crazy part is Bill Worski said that with Mike Howard when he was testifying. And then he got up on the stand when they were feeding him the questions that he told them to, and he was now the witness. That man sat there and said, after he said all this stuff about this girl, that the girl went and talked to the teacher that same, I mean, the assistant principal that morning and told all this good old glorious stuff. You had her on your witness list. You didn't call her at the trial to tell any of this stuff. You didn't bring the assistant principal up to say none of this stuff. But now you're standing in front of Mike Howard, and Mike Howard looking at you like, what? So Bill Worski is up there talking, and because he knew that Toby shook or he was going to be questioned about it, he went on and said himself, well, yeah, I never even met her. I never talked to her because she wouldn't talk to us. So if you never talked to her, how in the world do you know what her position is on any of that stuff you're talking about? And so
Right.
this is the moment that all those people that spent all that time talking about that stuff, never gave account that that woman was sitting there behind the family the first day. And on the other day, she was sitting right there next to Mr. Anthony. So they never took into account of that moment that she's there. While these people are telling lies, she's looking them right in their face like, really, are you serious? You know, at the end of the day, we don't look at that. And that's why I keep on pointing the finger back at us as a people. When OJ went to trial, and I'm going to tell you the reason why they couldn't do him wrong, because black people said, we're going to stand by you regardless. We don't care if they had you looking like Freddy Krueger. We're going to stand there and we're going to be outside, and you better make sure that man come out, because if not, there are going to be problems. And guess what? They did everything by the book, and they made sure that if the glove didn't fit, you must have quit. And that's exactly what them people did, because they couldn't pull no foolishness, because no one was worried about the storylines that they were putting out. Our problem these days is that they can say boo, and the first people that jump is us. And we want to be over there looking at why they said boo instead of concentrating on what was in front of you. Because what's in front of you is that regardless if Karmelo woke up every day since the day he was 6 and he chose violence, that has nothing to do with April the 2nd, 2025, when Hunter and Austin and their friends decided to come and assault him and disturb his peace. Had nothing to do with it. And that's where we lose focus. So we need to do better than that. And that trial, or I say trial, but it really wasn't. It just felt like one because it was so long. But that motion that motion hearing was a class personified and should be a seminar lesson for any lawyer looking to practice law to see uh, what the defense team, and everybody call them the dream team for a reason, what they did, how they did it, and how they prepared. They just got sabotaged for people that actually look like them and also supposed to support them. That's all that was. And because they did everything by the T to get the long shot of getting a new trial and not have to worry about the appeal process. But now we're not there no more. They He's made the decision. We were trying to figure out what his order says and what his reasoning for, so that way they can move forward. But I think their most important thing, because they could try to go to the Fifth Circuit, the federal side, and try to get injunctions, try to go ahead and get it appealed. They could do all that stuff, but they're right up on the statutory stop, and where this thing would be denied anyway once it hits that moment. And so you would have to get all these people to do that stuff today. That's what you would have to get done. So I think they're going to pivot and continue on the actual direct appeal and go ahead and get that done. They can use everything from this. And I think that's what people forget. Russell Wilson is probably one of the best lawyers in this country, period, hands down. And so he plays chess, not checkers. He probably already knew what was going on because he saw what was going on. But that's the reason why he was very poignant. That's the reason why he was very direct, because everything that happened over this week is a part now of the actual appeal, the direct appeal. And so they can make amendments, add that stuff. And when they get to the appellate court, they're going to have a strong case for an appeal. They are.
Yes. So who yeah, because with this particular case, and I know you had spoke on them closing the court. So because I want to go to law school, I be learning a lot of stuff. Okay. Now
Yes.
they can close the court for whatever reason. The issue was They did not make it public. It was more so a behind the scenes. You see what I'm saying? So
Correct.
that's
Correct.
the issue, because they can close the court and say, hey, we're closing the court. But the issue was it was never put on the record. That's what
Correct.
I
And
that,
like this judge showed them, he did the right way. He said that I'm going to grant everything. However, the guy over there from this court, because I'm from Coffin, he said that he don't have enough time to give you the actual live stream so people can plug in and they can watch it all over the country and the world. He said he
Mhm.
didn't have enough time and enough notice, so that's the reason why not. So what the judge did is called him in
Right.
to explain why it is that he told him that he can't do it. And once he put it on the record, he explained it. Then the judge issued the order, and then he
Right.
did it. That's the way you do it to avoid a Waller v. Georgia violation. But Judge Roach, what he did is he started. He let people in. He said, "I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that." And then he said, "You know what? I ain't let nobody see none of this trial." And he just closed it and kept going. And when people were complaining about it for a while, then he finally came out and said, "Yeah, I did it because I wanted to. I did it because of this." That is a complete Waller violation.
Right. I got another question for you, Dwayne, because I'm one of those people, a lot of people are heavy into forgiveness. That's not me. I'm
Yeah,
not heavy into forgiveness. When you're dealing with these folks, don't forgive them. You hit them one time and you knock all they teeth out. Okay. So I feel
correct,
like with this judge, what are they doing to make sure he feels the consequences for his actions? Because this is a system that they operate behind all different sorts of people. And I feel like with this situation, like you said, you felt like the judge got some calls. I feel that way too. Because I understand, here's the deal. Their explanation for what they did, it doesn't matter why you did it. You only had to put it on notice as to why you did what you did. That was a simple process. That's all they needed to do.
correct,
Could have still closed it. The fact of the matter is they did not do it appropriately, which made it seem like they did exactly what they were trying to do, go behind the scenes, throw him in prison. Everything that they tried to do, it worked. So my question now, I feel like now people's license needs to people need to start coming for their license at this point. That's just my thoughts. Now you
correct,
said, and I was a Bill, you said that he actually, because he did testify, and during his testimony admitted that he had never talked to Karmelo's girlfriend, but previously said that the girlfriend said that Karmelo was stalking her. And I'm just
correct.
like, what is really going on?
Yeah,
Something needs to happen. You see what I'm saying? So I don't
correct.
know what their plan is. I believe you mentioned, you remember when they were going through the recusal process, and
Hmm.
the judge said, I do not feel like Judge Roach did anything to the tune of, I don't know the correct wording, but he was basically saying he felt like he's going to come off the case because it's just someone that's looking at the case from the outside may be like, oh, okay, this doesn't look right. Is that the look of impropriety or something like that? So he's going to move him off the case, but did not want to speak to any type of violations because from my understanding, the way that they had it written was that there were clear, is it canon or some kind of violations or something?
Yes, yes, Cannon.
But the judge was like, okay, I'm not entertaining that. Please don't put that in the order. If you put that in the order, I will not sign that. So my question is, these people need to be stopped and you have to give it to them all. You can't forgive them. You got to everything you got because that is how they play. They don't give a
Correct,
damn about Karmelo. They don't care if he didn't have a fair trial. They feel like he unalived a white person. So they don't care about anything. And,
correct, correct.
even if Karmelo said he did it, that is not what we're talking about.
Yeah,
It don't matter what crime you commit. We're in the United States. You are supposed to have a fair trial. And he didn't have that.
correct,
It's not about if he did it or if he didn't do it. He never had a fair trial. So do you know what are they going to do about this? Because I feel like Bill will always play a part or try to play a part in this. And it seems like, the judge too. Because I mean, why would the judge have Karmelo's transcripts in his office for months? Like it just doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
Well, it's a moment of venue at this point because of the trial was over, and so a lot of things, like I said again, Russell Wilson right now is playing chess. So he's been very strategic because he knows there are different venues that he have to cross, different moments he have to do. They were introducing all of the canon stuff because it has to go on record that at least you file it, you mention it, it's there. The judge himself correctly said that, hey, I don't want to hear that because we're not here for that right now. I understand it, but that ain't me. No matter of fact, I don't even need it because he already said enough for me to recuse him. I may not think that he did anything wrong, but I know he did enough, what I've heard, to actually take away the public trust of being able to be over this trial in this case in this moment. And so for to get to the point of making these people accountable, because all of them should be accountable. That when it comes to Bill Werski, when it comes to DA Greg Willis, who is overall in control of the Collin County DA's office, when it comes to the lawyers themselves, that means Mike Howard, Toby Shook. I don't care that you did a solid in your testimony. You still did Carmelo Anthony wrong in representation. I don't care who my friends are. I don't care if my mama was a judge and my uncle was the DA. My as a defense attorney, my moment and my loyalty should be to my client. And if I can't do that, then I don't need to be in the courtroom. So you're telling me that you allowed, and that was my whole problem with Mike Howard and Toby Shook. You allowed your friendship to overrule your rule of law and your job. So that means that when this man told you, because this is just crazy how these people are, you're saying that these people told you we need to keep everything off the record for whatever reason. And as a seasoned lawyer in this day and time, you took a motion that you said you filed and you put it directly on the judge's desk and said, file this for me. You knew that motion wasn't going to see the light of day. That's the reason why you have the separation of government issues in every state. You have the court, you have the DA's office, you have the defense attorney, some of them have public defender's office. You also have the county clerk's office. That's a separate entity. Every court has its own clerk, but you have the county clerk's office. And what you do when you file, and as the lawyers do, they put it up on the portal, it goes directly to the county clerk. That person registers it, makes sure it's there. We know it happened. And if you have an order to seal or order of protection or whatever, they will follow that procedure, but it will be also notated that it came. Nobody can ever say it wasn't there. And it will be in the registry of actions that it was received, and then it goes to the parties. We never got that because everybody was playing games to put this case in a place to where you couldn't go back and trace it, period. So I blame everybody. So that means Mike Howard, that means Toby Shook, that means Bill Werski, and that means overall DA Greg Willis. All of them need their license taken, and they need to find out some way to put them in a RICO charge because it was criminal behavior what they did, period. And so that starts now. That starts with the attorneys for Karmelo right now, his civil attorneys, his appellant attorneys. That goes with us as well because we've been witnesses to it. We've seen it. We have paperwork. We have proof of it. We all need to start filing action with the state of Texas Bar Association. We need to do that first. We need to go to every different agency that we can that that oversees their licenses. We need to make sure we file formal complaints. We need to make sure that we set some type of standard on that moment. Anyone that has standing in that court that has been done wrong, we need to make sure we start filing lawsuits and we start making it the legal system work for us like they make it work for them every day. That's how we start making them accountable. Hit their money, make them not be able to run for office no more, make them not be able to get no clients no more on the defense side, and let's make sure that we let the world know that these people are crooked and that these people have taken this young man's peace and his freedom away because they were helping a friend. That's what we need to do, and that's how we make them accountable.
Right. And that's exactly how I feel. I don't feel as if this was a mistake because there were way too many mistakes. I mean, we're
Yeah.
human, we're gonna make mistakes, but there were two, these were not mistakes. These were
No.
carefully orchestrated RICOs, okay? And they all participated. Now, I don't know, in terms of Mike Howard, maybe for some part of it, he thought that this agreement was going to benefit. I mean, he kind of explained that. We probably would say, well, we didn't think it was a good idea, but we're not in his head. We don't know what that man thought, but it just seems like this was a carefully orchestrated RICO. I mean, the judge showed that by holding on to transcripts and like, what the, that was clear and evident that he wanted to hold up the transcripts because he knew in order for them to get an appeal that they needed the transcripts. So he was trying to deny Karmelo's right to be able to file for an appeal. And that's
Correct.
why he was holding up the transcripts. This is, like you say, a RICO. This is a whole criminal enterprise. We don't even know how many people they done did this to. Who else have
And
they
that,
done?
and that's the thing. I've actually spoken to, because I said there was some everybody out there. I ain't go. It was a lot of people that was coming back and forth. I met some people that I knew in my childhood, and I didn't even know it was them. And we were just talking about stuff that happened to them and their kids at the hands of Judge Roach and DA Willis. And so it's happened to a lot of people. And so what this is doing is giving an opportunity for us to go back and revise history and get action and correction for a lot of people. These people have had a history, and we've seen one of the cases actually is right in our face where you had the judge that won her seat and they didn't like it. And they trumped up some charges on her, had
Yeah.
that woman arrested. She lost her seat. Years
Yeah.
later, she had to sue them and she finally got vindicated. But guess what? That doesn't give you back that time. It doesn't give you
Right.
back that seat. And they were just like, oh, we'll give you some money, let you go on and go. They don't
Su-
care. Yeah.
Suzanne
And
Wooten. Name.
there you go, Suzanne Wooten. And so we have to remember they play that way. Their hands can get caught red-handed. They don't care. They'll just say, "Oh, okay," and keep stepping. And we have to not forget our special moment of a Attorney General Ken Paxton. He's been also helpful in this moment.
Oh,
He's been
really?
very helpful. And yeah,
Okay.
he's been very helpful in this moment. So it doesn't stop just at these people over in Collin County in that Collin County courthouse. We have some representatives that have family members that's allegedly involved in this situation that stomped the ground when this first happened and talking about what Karmelo should do and making sure that they use their weight to do whatever. And guess what? Those same people are making sure Sarah Fields and all them people got their pocketbooks filled. They taking pictures together, going to Mar-a-Lago together and all that stuff. But these were the same people in the beginning. That son is actually on the track team, and he was supposed to be there that day. But all of a sudden, we can't find no information about the little dude. We can't find whatever was going on that dude. Verify if he was there or not that day. We know they friends. We know all that because you told us that. Mama Fallon and Daddy Fallon. Yeah, we know that. So at the end of the day, all those people are involved, but yet everybody is okay with it because they just covered up. People are scared of them, all this different stuff. But guess what? We ain't scared because we got the truth on our side, and we're gonna make sure it get exposed. So at the end of the day, that's where Rico come in. Rico, because all of them had a hand in playing the roles that they need. Ken Paxton had the hand in it by making sure we couldn't get the autopsy report and the toxicology report, get the videos, get the things that we need. Because as soon as the Frisco ISD and the ME's department and all those people cried to him, guess what he did? He went ahead and blocked stuff and made that moment. And even to this day, we're still fighting to get it because they're still relying on his order from last year. So they all have a rule in it. He should have been and made them give the stuff over once the case was over with, but he don't have no interest. And a little birdie told me that he might have been around said area during that moment. Other dignitaries were around this moment during this situation. And so at the end of the day, it's a lot of parties that's involved because Carmelo Anthony's situation became political. It went past just a moment of kids. They don't care nothing about no Austin Metcalf. It became political for them to win seats, for them to make money and do the things they have to do and make sure they protect that corridor that's coming through Dallas all the way up to Oklahoma, because it is a multi-trillion-dollar corridor, and they want to protect that. And so Karmelo is a moment to where they can scare enough people not to report bullying. They can scare enough people not to report all these people with these bad intent toward people of color. They can do all that things. You can see what happened. We just got 20 pages of information of the Metcalf boys being racist and everything else, and no one has haven't even talked about it really. They've been talking about Karmelo and his girlfriend choices,
Right.
and so
Hey,
that is the problem.
I got a question for you because I just want to make sure I understand. So
Hmm.
I know that they mentioned two people and they said that they were causing problems. Now,
Correct.
I'm kind of confused because I wasn't there, obviously, but they're putting in in the chat that and see, I don't know this because anybody could call into a court and say so. I don't know, but they're saying that King Cass called the judge. I don't know
Correct.
if
He did.
that and said while they were deliberating and said that I guess that the district attorney was using his name.
Correct, he
Is
did, and he filmed it like a dummy. So yes, that is a fact. Yes, he did. Not only that, King Cass was doing all kind of things during this case, during this time of inserting himself to uh, the uh, the case. He was inserting himself into the case. I just put it that way, and he was showing them that basically his briefs that he filed, because he filed briefs, he did all kind of things in there, inserting himself into these motions. I ain't talking about the trial and these said motions this week. And then he got mad because Bill Worski actually mentioned it and said it in the court. He mentioned him by name. He mentioned Tiffany Lynn McAdoo Billions by name, and he had said that they were part of the causes of the issues and the threats and this and that. And so he called them out repeatedly for since Wednesday. He been calling their name every day. And so King Cass, he sent a cease and desist letter. He called, he filed, he did all kind of stuff, and he called the court.
I don't understand why you would call the judge. That's why I'm just like, what?
Yeah,
Like, what?
he he called
You
the court.
a judge? Just
Yes, he
like,
did.
I'm so confused right now.
Yeah, he called the court. He called the court, and he felt that he was going to get some play by calling the judge, and the judge quickly hung up on him, which he should. But it was just a moment to where, as a person who is a seasoned lawyer himself, a person who is a seasoned journalist himself, he should know better. He should know better,
I'm
and
confused.
he did not do better. But like I said, those are the things that. People have had to endure, and what Carmelo had to endure through this whole moment because of people who brain cells are not operating that well like this. And if you want to, I have the video.
Right. I remember, and I want to bring this up because you told me this a long time ago. I don't remember. You said
Yeah,
that Tiffany was causing problems with this case.
correct,
You said that.
correct. And we found that out because it was like I said, I went up on the live early in this situation last year and saw her up there spitboxing and cussing with people, and I went up just to rescue a sister from that moment and talk about some other things. And after that, she was following me along, all that stuff. And I started noticing after we were all advocating together, we're pulling myself and about three others, we're pulling FOIA requests, we're getting information, and all the stuff we're getting, we're sharing with her because we're all advocating. And at this point, she didn't kind of inserted herself as being a lead advocate. And so everybody's kind of, sharing so we can get the information out. Don't matter who leads, let's just get it out there. And but it also became apparent that okay, we're doing all this. What are you doing? And so it was like, and now you're telling some of these other people that it's your work, but these other folks done it, and it's like, what are you doing? And so then we started figuring out that not only is the work that we're finding and we're doing and the information we're getting, we also see over here that it's kind of looking strange about the way you're moving because the way you're moving is counterproductive to what the lawyers are doing. Even though I didn't trust Mike Howard, I wanted Mike Howard fired. I would
Right.
never do anything in the court to harm Karmelo in his case. And
Right.
so, but she was doing that. And then she started doing other things where we were saying that, hey, we need to uh, get Mike Howard off the case. She was telling people, no, he needs to stay because we need to make it to trial. And we're like, he can't go to trial. He goes to trial, they give him 30 years. And no, he needs to be vindicated. And it was those type of things. Not only that, but it was other things. People were trying to give Andrew Anthony a job to work at home doing the same thing. Those people reaching out to her because, again, she inserted herself as the main advocate, told people she had direct contact and talked to them every day. So they were coming to her like, hey, just have him call. I already worked out my company. They're going to hire him. He's going to be making the same money. That woman blocked that woman and then tell nobody that she didn't get it over or not. And that lady reached out to everybody and was like, hey, what happened? She blocked me. I can't, he never called because she never gave it to Drew Anthony. She never gave the information to Andrew Anthony so he can make six figures working from home and protect his family during this situation. She never gave it. But she was telling us that he was fine, that everything was good, but then at the same time, he needed money. He needed this, he needed that. And so it became a moment to where it was questionable. So now you're looking at, okay, you're doing these things, you're harming the family. Now let me start investigating. Let me start figuring this out. And by the way, I'm going to also make sure I keep track of you because I see now some criminal stuff happening. And I'm going to make sure you go to jail for messing with these people. And so it's kind of that moment. So people ask why they didn't know about it. It ain't that you didn't know about it, you just weren't listening. Because I know I was speaking about it, and other people were, but people just weren't listening. And
You
so, and
told.
yeah, yeah, people weren't listening. And so, and now it comes up, and we're the next year over. Why nobody didn't tell me? Well, you knew, you just didn't want to hear from me. You just didn't want to hear from other people, and you thought that we were just hating and we didn't like her and all this other drama that people had. And now that it's evident, now you just want to forget it. But guess what? Karmelo would not be in this situation if we would have just did right by him in the first place. And that's what we need to learn from this. But moving forward, know that those people like that, because just today, she blocked all the people that were helping her cover up, help her try to run me off, try to run folks like that off. And those people that knew, I'm pretty sure she got all the information from she need. And she blocked all those people on TikTok yesterday because it's over with for her. She already knew. Now I said yesterday, I didn't say today. She already knew that he was going to be denied because she knew because she worked with them folk. She worked with the other side, and so she already knew because if you look at all of them, they all had the energy of knowing what was going to happen. Jeff Metcalf sending out threats to Dominique Alexander on his inbox like he wasn't going to share it. All these different things that's going on. All these people were moving the same exact way yesterday before we even got to the verdict of what the judge was going to do today. And so, but they weren't moving that way when we got the recusal because they didn't know. They couldn't get to that judge. That man right there don't play. So at the end of the day, it was nothing you could do with him. With this judge right here, his whole mindset changed when he got that call from King Cass. It just changed him. He was over and done at that point.
I'm so confused right now. Like I am starting to realize that people on the internet is straight up weird because let me just make sure you understand. My understanding when he was saying that he was filing motions, I thought he was filing stuff to get the video, to get different things from the school. So now I'm just like not understanding, like, then what the heck were you filing? I thought he was filing something to help get, information out to the public. I'm confused.
I don't know if you can see that, but this is a cease and desist that was filed by him. That's on the 21st. That was sent to the court, sent to all of them. And if you see, that says Bill 𝐸𝐻𝐾. That's how I got it saved. But that's what it is. It's to Bill 𝐸𝐻𝐾, and this is the cease and desist. So at the end of the day, this is the stuff that he was filing, and if you look on the registry of action, you'll see the third party filings. You'll see them where he filed, and I'm saying it only because he said it publicly. Well, and so at the end of the day,
let's watch this video because I think they're saying I didn't see.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I got the video. I was gonna play it for you. You got it right there. Go ahead.
Yeah. Great afternoon or morning. If this is Judge Shitty, this is Attorney Christopher King calling on a recorded line. This will be the shortest phone call in existence because Attorney 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐠𝐞 is not present with us. And I do not want to do ex parte, but I have sent him a notice that Bill 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐠𝐞 lied in open court yesterday. So that's the result. Why can't black people have or do or be anything in this country? I can't be an attorney. I can't be a journalist. We can't sit where we want to sit. What's it all about? That man sat up there and told bald-faced lies about me in court yesterday. Yes, he did. And it's unacceptable, period. And I stand on that. Then that's that. See you.
Listen, I'm sitting here.
He called the judge directly.
I am
and told him he was going to hang up and that it was going to be short because it was ex parte. You just did that for content because that's improper.
Saying that, I'm appalled. Like, what is happening here? Like, what is really going on?
Yeah, and people think that we just be talking out of the side of our neck. Everything that we know when we're doing advocacy and investigations and trying to help people, you can't talk about everything. I don't know why people think that you just everything that you learn you got to talk about, because you can't. I can't talk about the things that I went to Louisiana myself for and went to go find out about rumors they said about Karmelo. I did on my own. I'm not going to turn around and tell you nothing. But when I tell you that, hey, no, them people, they're not being honest. Oh, no, it's not that. I'm telling you because I know it as a matter of fact. I don't have to go into details. And people like him should definitely understand that. Not only one, has he not been an advocate for decades, he's been a lawyer for decades. He's been a journalist for decades. The man got all kind of accolades out there sitting in different columns and stuff that his name and face is on. He worked right there in the same city that we were talking about in Frisco, Texas, as a lawyer. So at the end of the day, that's understood. So why would you be in your feelings that Bill 𝐟𝐶𝐾, who was willing to lie about talking to the girlfriend about what she was doing, what she believed, and what she saw, why would you be in your feelings as a grown old dude worried about this man lying about you in court when you know you got your bar card, when you know that you're a journalist, when you know that you can get up, put that press vest on and go anywhere you want to in this country and be a journalist? Why would you be worried about what this man is saying? You should have been smiling like, thank you.
Well, the thing of it is, this is not about nobody but Karmelo. This is
Correct.
not, we're not going to court about a case. It doesn't matter if we lied on. It doesn't
Correct.
do it. No, none of that matters. So it's not, I'm just so very like not understanding. You know, I'm confused, very confused.
And I told him months ago. He and I've had many conversations about this very thing. It's like sometimes you do the wrong thing and hurt your good cause. And the man can offer a whole lot to a lot of things. However, sometimes our ego and our will to do the stupid stuff for our own moment and purpose gets in the way. And that's just bottom line. And this is a direct live example of just that. A good person with a decent heart doing good work, and you allowed your ego, your moment, and whatever the vibrato that you got going down in your feelings about this man mentioning you in court. So what? Say thank you. He gonna let you go viral, go talk about it on your podcast. But do not do nothing to harm Karmelo, because that's what it's about.
Right. Because you know what? You just gave the judge an out. Even
He
if
did.
it not follow that, so from a judge standpoint, he's like, damn, I only been here for a day and I'm already getting calls. I only been here for a day. So I'm just like sad that you thought that was important to call the judge.
Well, here's a thought, and it may get me in trouble with some people, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I'm feeling that way this weekend and last week. Listen, the judge heard from Bill 𝐟𝐶𝐾 that the main cause and problem in this case was influencers. Did he not say it on Wednesday? I know I heard him say it. Was that Wednesday? No, it was Thursday when Mike Howard was up testifying. So he said it on Wednesday. I mean Thursday with Mike Howard. He said the main problem was influences. He said it Wednesday and Thursday. That's what he did. And so he kept harping on it. Everything was about the influences. The influences. They were doing this. It's no problem with this, this, and the other. The security problems came from the influences on Carmelo Anthony's side. He was just kept saying it, just kept saying it. And so now we get to Friday, and he said it again, and he kept saying it. And when Toby Shook was up, he was like, it's this, it's that. And after Toby Shook told him that, no, yeah, I know you're my friend, and yeah, I know you could trust me, but my client don't trust you. When we got through all that stuff, he still was sneaking in influencers. And then all of a sudden, the judge has heard this for 2 days straight, that the influencers are the ones that's causing all of the harm, the pain, doing the doxing, doing the threatening, doing all this stuff. He's heard this from the prosecution. And then all of a sudden, he gets a direct call from the actual dude that's been talked about for 3 days. Not one, not two, but 3 days. You've been mentioned in that court. And all of a sudden you call the judge directly. Don't you know it's a threat? Because you've been mentioned in the court. So it's one or two things. You either just throw it off and your brain cells don't work, or two, you did it on purpose.
Yeah,
I'll let him sit with that.
Yeah, I have no words. I mean, listen, I'm a hothead at times, but I would never call. What the hell am I calling? What am I calling the judge for? The judge cannot even talk to you. The judge can't even talk to you. So what you think they're gonna do? They're gonna hang up. They can't have a conversation with you. So I don't know. I really don't.
Well, we know that he'll be getting a complaint wherever, if he did it out there in Seattle, Washington, wherever his bar card is from now that he just got back, he gonna be getting some complaints on that bar card. I feel for him because they finna go in on your behind. You just got the thing back and you doing stuff like this. Come on, dog.
Yeah, like I said, I just saw that video. As a matter of fact, I thought I was gonna speak to him when he was out there, and I don't know. I don't know what happened. I hadn't been able to talk to Chris. I was trying to, find out, what had happened, because I know he didn't make the first day, and then he made it the second day, and I hadn't heard from him. So
he was definitely there. He was busy doing all this other stuff instead of doing what he's supposed to have been doing. This don't make no sense for grown people. These are grown folk to be doing this foolishness. Yeah, it just don't make no sense.
That's why I'm like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm just like, like he would tell me about different motions, but I thought, like, for instance, you and I talked about the video, not being able to get the video. And we talked about, okay, so what do we do to be able to get the video? I thought he was trying to get stuff like that. I didn't know. It was just like,
I'm fighting for the video still. And I had to file a brief to the Ken Paxton's office, because the Frisco ISD, they have a new law firm that actually filed a motion for the Ken Paxton to make a ruling to deny my access to the videos. Or my bad, not to the video, to the ME report and the toxicology report. And so I had to file a brief. So I wrote my brief and I filed it and I sent it directly to Ken Paxton. I would not file that brief in Collin County at the courthouse. And so it's nothing that I need to do. If I'm fighting with the Collin County courthouse in some way, form, shape, or fashion, I do what I need to do with them. If I don't happen, I go to another court and I go and sue them for the information. I do not file any documents or any motions or affidavits or anything into the criminal case or the appellant case of Karmelo Sincere Anthony. I just don't do that because I don't have standing that way in that case. So for him to be filing anonymous briefs, any brief or whatever sideways brief in that docket is just wrong. I don't know why he would do that unless you are a third-party organization that's trying to file a brief that's helping arguments on a constitutional level or something. You see that happen all the time. You're not doing that. You're doing self-interest and self-serving motions into this case, and all those things helped out the prosecution's case where they didn't have a case.
Right.
They didn't have a case going into Friday, and you helped them because of all this stupidity.
Right. Right. You
Yeah,
know what though? Again, they said something, and again, I got thick skin. I wouldn't give a damn what you said about me. Like sometimes
correct.
you may say something about me, I may laugh too. You know what I mean? I don't care what
Hmm.
people say. So they said that they had said that he wasn't licensed.
Yeah,
You know how they, they
yeah,
lying.
yeah.
They because I did see a video where he was, had looked up his name, but again, you don't need to prove stuff to people. If you know you
Correct.
licensed, them saying you're not licensed, you don't need to prove this. Like,
It don't, and if not, sue them for defamation. I mean, for defamation or something. You can do that privately. We don't even have to have known about that. So why would you file a motion into this boy's case and then also call the visiting retired judge that's actually sitting over the case, and he don't even have jurisdiction here. He's only doing it because the supervising judge that's over the over that area is actually got him there to oversee this moment. Why are you
right,
calling this man?
right. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know, but that's a shame. But this is what I want you to talk about
All
because
right.
I feel like Karmelo, obviously, he lost the opportunity for the new retrial or whatever they want to call it, but he has not yet lost the opportunity for his appeal. But I feel like with this hearing, there was a lot of other information that can be used as well, because what they did is they pretty much admitted it and said, hey, we did it because this is what we had to do, and we've done it like this all the time. So I feel like
Yes.
that is all good information, although obviously Karmelo didn't get the actual he didn't get the to be able to do the trial over. He still has a shot at the appeal process because now they have more information. What are
Correct.
your
And that's why I said earlier that Russell Wilson was playing chess, not checkers. People have to remember what we just witnessed about the judge recusal and having the opportunity to seek a new trial. Um, that's not filed that often. It's just not. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why, because it has a statutory limit, a time limit that it all has to happen. And most defendants that get convicted, you're not thinking that fast to hire a lawyer, get a team together, go find out all this stuff, get it filed, and hope that you can get into get a case on the docket, a court case on the, I mean, a court date on the docket that you can get it done in enough time. People just go to direct appeal. You wait for your appeal process, and then you try to get action based on that. What was so strategically brilliant on the part of Russell Wilson is that he knew that they had no information,
Mhm.
because people forget, as you spoke on earlier, when this case was adjudicated on June the 9th, on June the 9th that evening, going into the 10th that morning, Judge Roach told his people to put everything in his office.
Mhm.
On that day, on the 9th, once he was adjudicated, everything was supposed to go to the clerk. The clerks were supposed to upload everything to the portal, and it was supposed to be available to the public. Instead, Judge Roach hid everything, just like Trump did over in Mar-a-Lago when he took everything when he came out of office and hid everything in the ballroom, the bathroom, and didn't tell nobody.
Right.
Judge Roach did the same thing. And so when you seen Russell Wilson them come and they were going to take the long shot, they had nothing. They didn't know what happened. They had to rely on people who were at the trial and the transcripts from the news media in order to know something that happened. And uh, it was only by chance that they were willing to get Mike Howard to come on record and say what he knew, which
Mhm.
triggered now Toby Shook having to say what he knew at that point in time. And then we start getting trinkets of this, and now we getting the transcripts. Now we getting this because at that point in time, now AG Ken Paxton and all them are calling down like, wait a minute, that dude right there, Russell Wilson, he ain't gonna play. He got a history of making sure you go see prison. So we want to make sure that we ain't gonna be afoot. So you better release. And all of a sudden, that's when we got the videos, the video from the prosecution that they doctored. That's when we start getting all the other information and everything, because Judge Roach is not going to release nothing. And so since we go through this process, I know that it's a chance every time. So that's why you see motions most of the time to challenge certain evidence and all that stuff, because you just might win. But if not, we're going to be concentrating on the next end. And I think that's what uh, uh, the attorneys here, Russell Wilson and his team, were banking on. Because if we have these hearings, then we will pull out and extract information that we would not have. Guess what? We finally look. I've been waiting on the Twins records since I filed for it last year. A lot of people have. Now we've got some information from the streets, but we've been waiting on the documents. The documents were there. We knew they had them, and so at the end of the day, now we all have them. We've been telling people for a year and some change they had. I know I said they had like 18, 19, 20 pages of issues and all that stuff. I've said it many a times in this past year and some change, because we knew what we were looking at. We just didn't have the paperwork. Now we have it. It's record now, and they had to bring it out, the stuff they was hiding. So guess what? Like you said earlier, every piece of item, line item, word, and evidence is now in the system. And I'm gonna tell you what that retired judge did. That's why I know that his hands was tied, because when they got through talking, because they were trying to stall out, the prosecution was, and as soon as they got through, he cleared the courtroom. He told everybody, okay, we good. And he told those attorneys, I need everything that you presented. I need it all turned in right now. That's what the judge told them in open court as them people were leaving. So what the judge was thinking is that, I don't know how this is going to go, but I think I see the way that young fellow over there is moving. Talk about Russell Wilson. And he said, I'm going to make sure I preserve everything. And he got them to bring everything in, because he knows, regardless of which way he rules, they're going to need all this, because he's seen that people have been hiding stuff. And so when people don't, and that's the brilliance of good lawyering, or being a good lawyer, I'll put it that way, because you do look ahead and you say, okay, if I do not get this, this is going to help my action that I already got going, because the direct appeal was going to be there regardless. And so now you take all this information, you build on it, and now you have a chance now to get every piece of discovery that's not available. You get it now, because they can't withhold it no more. And they now have to give it to you. And when you get to that direct appeal, oh boy, it's going to be fireworks.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were, because was thinking, I just had to cut one of these hoes out in the chat. Y'all got me messed up. And if you must be new here, because I will cuss your ass the out. If you don't come in my chat with this bullshit, if you don't want to be here, get the out. You don't tell nobody what to say and how to say it. You can leave. These folks be disrespectful.
I ain't mad at you.
So I just wanted to let people know that although he lost this appeal, well, that wasn't the appeal, I'm sorry, the hearing for the new trial, he lost that, but he still has the opportunity to have the appeal. And I feel like with the information that came out, although this judge did not approve it, it's more information that we didn't have before. Way more information. So, and I'm going to have the not guilty boys. Y'all got to make sure you guys come back tomorrow. We will be here tomorrow, and I'm going to have the not guilty boys, attorney Mike and Andrew. They're going to be here tomorrow, so they'll be able to get into a lot of the legal stuff. But I know you know too, Dwayne. So when this goes to the Court of Appeals, tell me how this works, because I think a few things can happen. Can they dismiss this stuff? Like, what are his options when he gets to the appeals process? Because I just feel like they have done so much. I feel like they should not even have the opportunity to retry him based on what they have done.
Yeah. On the appeals process, and that's the thing people understand. Getting a new trial does not change anything other than taking away what happened and give you an opportunity to get a new opportunity to go to trial again, where anything can happen. You can get acquitted, you can get the same time, or you can get more time. It's just really, it's the flip of the the luck of the draw, that type of moment. With the direct appeal, they have multiple lanes they can go in. So if you go in and you prove your point during the appeal, they can completely overturn the entire case and basically dismiss it and get you out the way, and you exonerate it and you go home free of charge. They can do other things as well as remand it back to the court. Now, the good thing here, what people don't understand, is that if the appeals court says, you know what, there was so much going on, we're gonna send it back to the court and make them go redo this, that, and the other. We saw these error, this error, this error. Guess who's not gonna be there? Judge Roach, because he's been recused. He can't do anything on this case ever again. And so that's the other good thing about it. They can remand it back to fix errors. They can fix the errors themselves, depending on what they want to do and the things that they got going down. So they have a broad range of things that they can do as the court. But yes, they can overall just go ahead and get this whole case out the way if they feel that it was egregious enough to where it caused harm. It was too much going on. They can just get the case out the way. And that's the power of the appellate court, because they have the power to just say goodbye and go from there. So they have a lot more evidence now and a lot more firepower to make an appeal, a direct appeal, successful to where he gets the opportunity to stay home.
Right. Right. Because
Yeah.
so here's the deal. I'm not trying to get anybody to escape accountability. I just feel like if they are going to retry this case, it can't be in Collin County. I just feel like they just they want him to go to prison. They don't
Correct.
care what happened. It's just what they want. And I feel like it's because their father has some kind of ties or whatever it is that they have going on. And people done said that they feel like that daddy got something on some folks, and that they're moving this kind of way because they don't want him to tell what it is, whatever it is he know. I don't know. But it doesn't seem like, you know what I mean? It seems too involved. Like it just seems like, I mean.
Well, the good thing about it with the appeals, we don't have to worry about it being in Collin County, because that's the appeals court is in the Dallas area. So we don't have to worry about that moment. Only way you're dealing back with Collin County is if it's remanded back to them for whatever reason that the appeals court feels they need to go back. Other than that, they're going to basically, because of what I see anyway, and what I know on this case, and what we just learned and got from this, and what I know that attorney Russell Wilson and his team will do in the interim of going to the appeals. I think once they get there, those appellate judges are going to look at it, and they're going to be like, oh my God, and they're just going to get rid of the whole case. So I think that's what we will be going to. And that's why I said he's playing chess while everybody else is running around playing the checkers and dancing and whatever,
Right.
because he did not get the new trial. I wanted the new trial so he can get bonded out and be able to get back home and not be in prison. However, I know that his best issue is to get to the appellate court and be able to get this thing off of him altogether. And so it's kind of a bittersweet moment, because I would definitely not want him to be in prison. The whole reason why I even started advocating in the beginning, I wanted his only chance to be in jail was the moment they had him in Collin County jail the first time around. I didn't get that way for multiple reasons. So now we're here. We're just going to make sure that we do everything necessary to support the legal team, support he and his family, and make sure we do not do a king cast and be in the way, so we can make sure that Karmelo get the things that he needs, because God knows, Jesus, these folk crazy. So yeah.
We gonna listen. I don't know. I'm just sitting here like, woo, boy, you don't know who you be meeting on this internet, because I don't know. You too damn old. Listen, you know your ass down somewhere and you going around doing all this stuff. Come on now, I don't even know what that is. Like, I'm not, I mean, I love myself, but I don't make moments like this about me. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. I could have been in the court. I could have been a blogger. You could have said something about me. I would have just sat there and, I'm not going to get put out the courtroom. You know what I mean? So
I'm telling you.
I don't know. I'm so
confused. Because it wasn't like they were lying. They were basically saying what you were doing. Now, their opinion on what you do is their opinion alone. So
Right.
you did do all those said things that they said you did. Now them saying that you're a lawyer or not, that's conjecture. So it's depending on what time frame they were saying in, because you didn't have your license for a while. So maybe he didn't know your license was renewed. You should have had a conversation with him before you call the judge. So my
Right.
thing is, it's multiple things you can do to get a situation straight before you take the extreme to call the very person that's going to make the decision on the case that you're trying to support. It's like, what, dude? Stop! Don't do that no
Right.
more.
Somebody
Yeah,
in the nobody is blaming King Cass. You probably are just coming in, so just rewind it and you'll understand what we said. But
yeah, yeah.
I do.
And just for the record, King Cash is a good dude. King Cash is one of those. He's one of those dudes. He's comical. All those things. We just got to remember. Sometimes we have that uncle that,
Right.
regardless of what's going on,
Right.
you can't get that man to drive past 30. He gonna be at 30, even if the speed limit is 70. He gonna
Right.
still stay 30 because you're not about to harm his 69 Lincoln.
Right.
It ain't about to be harmed. And them hubcaps with them white walls are always gonna be clean. That's King Cass. So at the end of the day, he's a prideful man. He
Right.
is. He's a man of his principles and things he's got going on. And sometimes you have to protect those that are around you. And that's
Right.
the thing we had to do with King Cass. Make sure that we reel him in, reel him in. But sometimes you can't reel him in because he has other influences in his mind that he won't step away from. And we won't talk about those people that hang on them broomsticks, run around all over the place. And so at the end of the day, that is his problem. And so when he learned to leave those people alone, then maybe he wouldn't make those type of decisions, because I'm pretty sure she was in his ear telling him to do that foolish stuff because she was there as well. And so, and she was being talked about. Yeah, they talked about her right in her face. And the dude turned around and said, and they're here today. That made me fall out. That man said, and these social media influencers and all this stuff, and they're in here today. I almost fell out when that man said that.
That
And
is
I wasn't even in the courtroom. I was outside in the parking lot, and I heard that moment real time from some people. So it's like, yeah,
like
it's crazy.
they said, yeah, and he was talking about him, and they were sitting right in the courtroom.
Yeah, that right there looking. And I guarantee you, if she knew that he was going to talk about her, she wouldn't have been there. She wouldn't have been there. They said the look on her face was like, good God. And yeah, she was in her feelings. It was what it was. But you know, what you do is in public domain. People see what you do. And now you really put yourself out there. And Dwayne didn't have to say nothing about it. You did it yourself. And so
Right.
now it's the court saying that you did it, not me. So it
Right.
is what it is. Yeah.
And also, too, he could have been setting them up to see if they were going to respond too, so that he can say, "This is what I was talking about, Judge." You see what I'm saying? So it could have just been a setup because, too, that was unprofessional. He shouldn't have been calling me. You see what I'm saying?
Correct.
You
Correct.
calling out
Correct.
people of the community. You're literally making them a part of the case. This is really about Karmelo. So it could have been him trying to set them up to see if they were going to do like an outburst. So then he can kind of say, this, Judge, this is what we were dealing with. So what do you think, Dwayne? Because people were saying that Bill was running the court yet again. And it seemed like in so many words, he was making intimidating remarks toward the judge and just, saying, I think somebody said he said something like, I can't remember exactly, but it was something to the tune of somebody was in the back of the court or something. I don't remember exactly, but then he referenced a case that the judge had previously had in which the judge had let somebody out and this
Yeah.
person like reoffended, and he was trying to kind of insinuate like, you probably don't want to give him a new trial, although he didn't say it, but that's kind of what he was hitting around to. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, he did just that. I think I spoke on a live that evening. Well, while I was going in real time, we were talking about that. And the case he's talking about happened in Kaufman, Texas, in Kaufman County, where he's from, where he was the judge. And he was actually the judge over the person that actually got out and did that. Now, the situation that happened, it was more of a domestic dispute that had been ongoing and long going. So it didn't matter whether that person was locked up or not, had never been locked up before. It was going to get where it was because their minds were bad. All of the DA that of the person that was the officer or whatever he was that lost his life. the lady that was involved. This person did what they did, and they were going to do it regardless. And so that judge, Bill Worski, actually, I think, was in that office as well, or dealing with that situation as well. So they all knew about it. And I think what he did, he was basically telling the judge that you need to understand that we understand where you come from and what's going on with you, and remember of this moment. And he was talking about, now he was saying that these were cases that had heightened security levels to where they had to do heightened security things. And he said the one that stood out in his mind that was greater than all the other ones was this one in Kaufman, Texas. Now, the other case that he talked about was the Texas Seven. And what the Texas Seven was, those are a group of individuals that escaped from prison. And they ran ruckshaw over Texas, and they were shooting up stuff and robbing stuff, and ended up on the freeway having a shootout with cops. And that's why they call them the Texas Seven. Them people did all kind of craziness. And that case and that trial was weird, and it was a lot. That was probably the one that would be more so the one that he should have remembered. He mentioned it first, but he went and came back to the one that hit the home for this retired judge that's sitting at home and probably thinking about that moment because he was from that community. And I'm pretty sure he knew that individual. And so now you play to his emotions. Now you got the judge thinking, and you got the judge thinking, and you kept on saying that Karmelo was heinous and that he was this because he was at 6 and 7 years old getting in trouble at school. So God knows we can't have that dude that's now 20 years old running the streets. We can't do that because at 6 and 7, he was telling the teacher no. He couldn't keep his hands to himself at 6 and 7. So you were telling the judge this and pull on his purse strings, and then all of a sudden you have King Cascott to actually acerbate that these people are unhinged. And when I say these people, I'm talking about black folk like us, because King Cass is black. He knew he was black because he saw him in the courtroom as being black. So at the end, so all these things work to the emotional side. And that's why I said that man was on the side of Karmelo until he got to Friday, because Friday was the time that they had all these things add up. And just by circumstance and happenstance, King Cass called. And you're going to tell the judge that, hey, this is King Cass, and I know you're going to hang up on me because this is ex parte because the Bill Worski is not here. Dog, what? Just for what? And you did it, and you went on this long dissertation. So are you working with that side, or are you supposed to be on this side? Questions began to wonder and be asked because that was suspect. And you now did the exact same thing that all of them were saying that Sarah was doing. Because we all know what she been doing all this time. And she been doing some stupid stuff that has affected this case as well. But she wasn't there doing it. Nobody got no video of her calling. If she called, we don't know about it because she didn't film herself. And so these are the things that harm the legacy of this situation. And the legacy of this situation is the freedom of Karmelo. And that is the thing that stood out the worst to me about that moment, because Bill Worski knew I don't have a case. I know he knew that this legal team over here didn't beat me. So I'm for the now go over here and I'm gonna play to his purse strings, and I'm gonna tell him about this Kaufman County moment, and I'm gonna hark on it, and I'm gonna stay on it. So now he got to go back and think, do I want to be party to letting this young man out? Because he knew if he give him a new trial, Karmelo gonna get bond. He knew that. That means you're gonna come away and you're in TDCJ. You're in Texas Department of Criminal Justice's custody. You're a ward of the state right now. And if I give you this new trial, which I know I should, I'll be letting you out. And if something happens, then now I got the second Kaufman County situation on my hand and on my conscience. They played that old man. They played him, and it was many people visited that court. They probably shouldn't have visited that court, and I'll leave it that until I get my proof, and I'm gonna talk about it. But they were there, and they came, and they left, and that means they were coming to make sure and do the things they got to do. Why wasn't Greg Willis, the DA of Collin County, why wasn't he the one in there speaking and upholding and protecting the integrity of his office? Why it had to be Bill Worski?
Greg Willis wasn't there.
He wasn't the one. No, he wasn't the one talking. He should have been the one up there. And when Bill Worski said that he wanted to testify, He should have been the one over there asking the questions. This is your office.
Right. Right.
Where were you? Why you wasn't there? I bet you were there when the motor pools pulled up.
Right.
Let's just leave that there. So it is what it is. So yeah, it's a moment to where uh, they set that up to get that judge off of where they knew he would be. And as someone put in the comments, I want to just go ahead and say that uh, it was a moment that Jeff Metcalf and a lot of those influencers on that side, they knew already by their actions and their words and what they were saying last night of the ruling. I knew what the ruling was going to be last night by their actions. I didn't even
Yeah.
check none of the social media posts until last night after I got the shower. And they
You are
all were speaking as of if this was the verdict. And we did not even know. I even spoke to a media member and they were like, well, we don't have nothing. He said, but why are all these people acting like they got a verdict already? I said, well, because they probably know. Yeah, they did.
they were saying that the Jeff says, well, when it comes back denied, I don't know his exact words, but
Hmm.
essentially it's going to be denied. So make sure y'all get out there March tomorrow because it will be denied.
Yeah, and he did the same thing last year, um, right before the indictment. Remember, it was 3 weeks. The grand jury had it. They just kept putting it aside. They were like, "This ain't no case. We ain't gonna deal with it." And Greg Willis came out and said that he had to basically walk the indictment. I mean, the information in, and he gave a dissertation to them, a summarize. He said, "I summarized the situation." And I got an indictment. Remember before that, Sarah Fields and Jeff Metcalf both said that there will be an indictment next week. Now, indictments and grand juries are secret.
Right.
The family of the victim or the people of the party, the issue, should never know what's going on until after the fact. Nobody
Right.
should know but the attorneys and the people in the grand jury. But Sarah Fields and also Jeff Metcalf both stated emphatically that there would be an indictment next week. And lo and behold, there was an indictment that next week.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did. And so the same thing they did here. They knew when that man clearly said that I'm going to make my ruling tomorrow, nobody should have already in their mind of which way this was going to go. And
Exactly.
they clearly said last night, and it was like 8 or 9 of them that I listened to, and I just shook my head. And when I went on my rampage to listen to these women cry about Carmelo's choices of women, they all said the same thing, that they knew that it was going to be denied. So what are y'all going to do now? I even replied to one of them and said, "Oh, we just going to sit there and be happy, and Carmelo going to wait for his appeal." I said, "And you just keep visiting Austin's situation in his apartment, and make sure you keep putting flowers over there by his apartment that he's in permanently."
Okay.
And that was
That's
my response.
right. That's the type of stuff I say. I don't feel sorry
Yeah,
for nobody. Like I want Black people to stop feeling sorry for these folks because
correct.
they don't feel sorry for you. You see what I'm
Not at
saying?
all.
I don't feel sorry. I say it all the time. They'd be like, Carmelo. I said, well, at least Carmelo is here. Y'all better go sweep that damn grave off because you're gonna have to do that every season. You're gonna plant flowers, you're gonna pick up the leaves. Okay. Y'all want to
Correct.
throw them then.
Correct. Bottom line, and because at the end of the day, Carmelo get to smile. Carmelo get to think. He get to
Right,
read a book. He get to watch TV. He get to
right,
eat. He get to do all the things he want to do. And guess what else he get to do? He get to come home when this direct appeal is approved.
right,
Austin ain't gonna never be able to do that because he didn't learn how to keep his hands to himself. And we
right,
know that for a fact. Well, y'all know it for a fact now because they now put all 20 pages out in the case file. And when people get copies of them, they'll show you. But we
right,
have the dissertation of it, and they never learn how to keep their hands to themselves. They never learn what that no means no. They never learned that because their daddy don't know it. And so at the end of the day, they now have one of the bobbleheads is missing because he did not learn to keep his hands to himself. Bottom
right,
line. And so that is the story. That's the moment. And that's one thing that he can never enjoy, which is going to be the freedom and the
right.
peace of mind that we have and Carmelo have. Bottom line. Because Hunter ain't doing too well. I have
Right,
that from the words on the street. He ain't doing too well because he know what he did last summer. We
right.
see how Jeff Metcalf looked. He don't look too well either because he
No,
know what they did last summer. And we don't even
exactly.
hear from Megan, her little bobblehead behind, just sitting down somewhere because she know good and well what happened last summer. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Carmelo is going to be good. He is good. And he's going to be free after this direct appeal is done. And I just appreciate Russell Wilson and his team for strategically doing everything they could, and they were right there at
Right.
having this thing put to a new trial. But because of bobblehead individuals of the melanated color
Right.
decide to take their butt somewhere and do some stuff they wasn't supposed to do, we are where we are.
Right. 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 Dang, I had one more thing that I was I just kind of dang it. I can't- But dang it. But yeah. So the good thing about it is, they're still moving forward to the appeal. So that's the good
Yes.
thing. Have more information. Somebody said, how long does the appeal take? That can take years, can it? Can
It depends on the courts. It depends on the courts. You got to remember you're now getting in line in a court docket. You have a process of that, and these appeals, depending on the situation, what's going on, you can ask the court to expedite it. You can do all kind of things, but it's really just depending on the court and their docket. I've seen people when they get locked up, you file for the direct appeal, and sometimes you can get some action within 2 to 3 years. Sometimes sooner. It just really depends on the appeal process, what's going on federally. It could take a little longer. State, it could be a little shorter.
you
So
know
it
you're,
just really depends.
you're right, because I saw people file an appeal and hear something within 6 months. So
Correct.
yeah,
Correct.
you're right. It depends. Now
Yeah,
with
it
no,
depends.
there so how tell us how voting can help, because I'm not in Texas and I don't know what your seats and everything consist of, but how can people help by coming? They should be voting anyways, but you know
Correct.
how folks are. So tell us
Yeah.
the one, how can this help, Carmel?
Voting can help by first showing up. That's our biggest issue. We have we have people registered to vote that never go to the polls.
Right.
Um, that's the first thing. We have to go and show up. We have to educate ourselves on our local elections. I know people always pay attention to the national stuff, but you have to start worrying about the local, because the local is what stems into the national. And so if you start getting your city council right, start getting your county clerk right, start getting your local officials correct, and start paying attention to when the DAs come up. If you, like, we had a DA, Craig Watkins in Dallas County, the one that Russell Wilson used to work with and got all those people exonerated. That man, they ran him out because of that, because he was the DA and he would actually do what you're supposed to do. Let me look at this case. Oh, no, that boy didn't do that. Y'all don't have enough evidence. We're going to dismiss it. And they like, well, I want to prosecute it. Well, go prosecute somewhere else because you ain't do it here. And he was that type of DA, and they couldn't stand it. But that's what you're supposed to do. A DA is supposed to look at the case on all ways, and if it's prosecutable, do it. If you see that person didn't do nothing, dismiss it. If you see it's a middle ground, let's work it out and get you up out of here. That's what no nonsense, correct litigation is supposed to look like. So we need to start making sure that we vote for the judges, because your judge, if you voting for him, you won't have a Judge Roach, because you'll put somebody in there with some common sense. And so we have to be able to start doing our homework and start looking at those things. You do that with your artists, you do it with your clothes, you do it with your colognes, you do it with your bath soap. So why not do it with the judges that have to be in there? So just in case you or your family members get in trouble, we have somebody that's going to look out for the righteousness of the law, not necessarily just color, the law. And if they see what the law says, they'll go ahead and they'll adjudicate based on the law. We have to get back to that. And that's what our old folks used to do back in the day. That's why they used to take the bus loads out to the church to go vote, because they understood that this place is going to be what it is. You're going to have people that ain't going to like you because your skin tone. They ain't going to like you because of your status. People forget, even in this case, you had where the Bill Worski said that that Carmelo, what did he say? That you ain't going to be able to go back to that money or something. It was something financial that he said about Carmelo. And Judge Roach, during the closing arguments, or I mean, during sentencing, told Carmelo he wasn't going to go back to that house on the hill, basically. And so all of them don't like their financial status,
Mhm.
because their financial status was better than some of them. And so at the end of the day, that's going to happen. But if we vote in the correct people, we're not worried about that. We're not worried about those things. So people need to start getting out of their own feelings about the Democrats, Republicans, and the independents and all that. Go out there and do your research. And if that person is going to stand for what's right and for what's righteous, I ain't talking about your religion, because that's you. So the scriptures say, seek out your own soul salvation that you may enter in. So you can't be worried about what the next person feel, because their soul salvation may be different. So let's stop voting based on our religion. Let's start voting based on what we're looking at every day, because it wasn't somebody up there claiming Jesus, Muhammad, or Buddha. It was a dude up there looking at the law and his feelings. And so at the end of the day, if we would have voted the right person in, they wouldn't have cared about King Cass calling. They wouldn't have cared about the DA talking about a case they used to be on. They would just litigate based on the facts and before them, and we wouldn't have this issue. So let's show up to vote. Let's show up and be reasonable and intelligent, and start looking at these candidates, knowing what they're going to do for us. And just like y'all did all this research on this case, you should be doing it on every candidate that you vote for.
Right, right, right. And also, too, I don't know if people know this, but I did this the last local election. You literally can print you can print you can go to, I think it's like sos.gov. You can actually print it out, and you can do your research right on the form. And that's one of the only things you can take in there is you can take pre-ballot. Because I was this last local election, I'm like, I don't even know. So I printed it out, and I said, from now on, this is how I'm going to do. I'm going to research, write the people name that I want. And the reason why I like it is because a lot of times when you do these local elections, you don't even know who these folks are. You literally don't. And because I was like, wait a minute, I got to do something better. So I printed it out. It gave me everybody's name. And it took me, you just go Google and see. You don't have to do extensive research. You can go to their social medias. You can go to the internet. You don't have to spend a whole lot of time with it. And you just come up with a decision. And that's what I do.
Definitely correct. And we have to know that if you're in a city or in a county and you're like, okay, these people are unopposed, then y'all need to get together and find somebody to oppose them. If they don't stand for your issue, stop letting these people just run and get up in these offices and nobody opposed them at all and gave them a run for their money. Stop doing that, and start standing up, because we live in these rural areas. Sometimes we live in these gated communities and stuff, and we just think it's good enough because we there. No, stop voting for these provisions and all this stuff they put on these ballots and not know what they are.
Right.
Just because somebody told you on the radio to vote yes, and you ain't even research and see what it was doing. Stop doing that. Let's take our time, research, find out what stuff is. Google is free. And y'all, most of y'all, if you're Android, you can ask Google. She's gonna tell you whatever you want. If you got Siri will tell you what you want. It's for free. Nobody got to charge you for it. Just ask for the information. It'll print it out. And so at the end of the day, let's get busy. Let's start being more active. And if we need to, let's start getting people and getting them in places to run. So that way we can get people in there that we can trust, and we can be able to get some change done. But we can't do it just always sitting around talking about we praying and talking about all that stuff. We got faith without works is dead. So we got to get out there and work.
Right. You are absolutely right. Yeah. Somebody put in the chat, it's the sample ballots.
Yes.
So you can just print it off, and I love it because you can write it in and you can take it right in there with you. I do it for my young adults. That was another reason why I did it, because we were voting together, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, y'all don't know. Let's print it off. You know what I mean? I think it's easier to print it off, and then I helped them and I marked it up for them, and that was simple. But yeah, thank you so much for coming. I was going to read some of these super chats, but we pretty much answered a lot of these questions. Like someone says, Gabby Biteson says, I seen lawyers say this is not over. We kind of answered that already. So it's definitely not over. He just doesn't get a new trial, but he's still doing the appeal. So we kind of answered that one. And most of these, and somebody is mad in this chat.
They'll be okay. I got a lot of people mad at me. It is what it is. You nothing to do about it. But Brittany Sherrill, 1863, she was she's close to what he said. He said, go back to you won't be able to go back to your big house anymore, your property of the state. It's kind of what Bill 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐿 was saying. I know with the judge, he was kind of saying pretty much the same thing too. They both were in that moment to where you're not going to be able to go in your privileged moment, your
Right.
privileged family, your privileged moment that you got going down. And so for them to say that when you're getting sentenced, it shouldn't even be about that. It's about you doing your time. This is what the
Right.
state said, so you do whatever. And for Bill Worski to be in the moment of a new trial motion, and here you are talking about that Carmelo ain't gonna be able to go and enjoy his money and whatever the case may be, it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's jealousy. You're jealous of this young man and
What
that had
is
two jobs and doing
what
his own thing. Uh-huh.
what must he be talking about? He said that at the new trial still?
Yes, he did. He said that. Yeah, Bill Worski said that. He mentioned the same thing. And like I said, a lot of this is carbon copy, and it's almost a playbook they're using because again, Judge Roach used it in the sentencing, and now he's using it in this moment as well. And it's both they were both talking about basically the same thing she's saying here, which is the brief synopsis. You ain't gonna be able to go back to your rich pie in the sky. You gonna go back to jail, and that's all it is. Judge Roach is saying you're going to jail, and Bill Worski is saying you're going back to jail, and that's what was telling to me at the time because now he was basically testifying that this was what's going to happen while he was actually being asked the questions. So that means that you went to lunch and you came back confident that what you're about to say is sealed and you already knew what it was. And that was the kind of the thing to me when people came out around six something that evening on Friday, and they were like, "Well, the judge just said, hey, y'all leave, give me everything that's going there." It was good that the judge was giving the opportunity for the defense to get everything, but to me, it sounded finite. It sounded like it was like I'm frustrated. Why they called me here? I'm retired. Well, I got to deal with this drama. Y'all get out because I got to go do what these people want me to do now, and I don't like it. That's kind of what it sounded like to me. From 8 or 9 people that was coming out of there, they all said the same thing. I was like, so what did he say? It was like he didn't say nothing. He told us that we can get on out, and he was telling them while we were getting out, he need everything so he can get it from both sides, so he can get everything and he go do what he have to do.
Right. Yeah, when
Yeah,
I heard that I was because I thought when I had spoke to you, you had thought that he was going to give the decision that day. And then
correct.
when he said it was the first thing came to my mind, I said, okay, he doesn't want to see the backlash. He wants to do it so that he can be done with it and he don't have to deal with the backlash. So I said,
Yeah.
but then I said it could go the other way too. So yeah.
Because it sounded like when they were stalling the prosecution, it sounded more to me like he was saying, because he was very animated about it. And he said, listen, he said, no, we're going to get through this right here. And we're going to get to closing arguments. And we're going to get to where we need to today. That's where he was at. That's where he was at. And then all of a sudden, it was like at the end, give me
Uh
everything. And I'm going to let you know what I got going down tomorrow.
so it was
So
a
it was a change, and like I
oh
said, in with that change, you had King Cass, you had the other host of people that was coming in and out. You had all these things. You had Bill Worski reminding him about Kaufman County. You had all these different things happening after he had this moment in the beginning. Like you gonna answer all them questions this man got you. You got all this stuff right here going on, and then all of a sudden it flips to a point of y'all get up out of here. Y'all give me everything because I gotta do this bid that these people told me I gotta do.
right. I got you.
Yeah,
Okay, that
yeah,
makes sense because you did say something happened. So that's what you were
yeah,
saying. Okay. You
yeah.
can tell that his mood went from, okay, we're gonna finish this to, oh, okay, I'll email it. Just give me everything. I gotta go.
Correct, correct. And when I heard the attorney, I forgot his name on Smash the Topic, I think is what people said he was on in Dallas, and he was telling people that the judge was already considering and he was going to email the parties. And I was like, wait a minute. I said, we're still out here. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock. And
Mhm.
we knew they were still in there testifying, and Bill Worski was still in there running people off. People was leaving, going home because they were tired of listening to him. But this man, who was an attorney, had told the people in the streets that he was already considering and he was going to email the parties. Now, I know, and everybody should know, once he makes his order, he's just going to enter it into the system, and the system is going to automatically send out to all the parties. And that's how they'll be informed. Notice you ain't heard none of the parties that was the ones giving the information. It was the media. giving you the information that the verdict was in. And
Was.
so, yeah, and so that means the parties were basically just moving on to their next move. But the people that we heard telling us before, the media, was Sarah, was Jeff, was those type of people, and saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. We're gonna get what we want." Matter of fact, Sarah was saying it on Friday early in her dissertation that she was over somewhere on vacation. And she was like, well, y'all just got, you ain't going to get this and this and that. So they already knew because the fix was in again, because they had already got to this man to make him change what he was leading to, because he
You
was
know
already
what?
leading to on that side.
You know what? That's why that first judge got the hell up out of there in a few hours. He was like,
Yeah.
recuse.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Ricky was gone. He was like, I don't want to hear none of that. Look, them people said that man was animated to tell Russell Wilson them. I don't want to hear nothing about that. I don't need that. That man has said enough, recused. I'm gone. That man gave the deuces and he got up there out of there so quick. The court was confused how to put Judge Chitty on the docket. So it was just that much of a moment. And so when we started off, like I said, that man was moving forward to get to the point of where he should have been, and that was giving Carmelo the new trial. But when he got to that change time, and that change time was Friday, that man switched it up. And I talked to a couple of people, even the way that he was moving, the what he was doing had changed up. When he heard the background of the twins, they said in the beginning his eyebrows was going up, like what? And they said parts got red. They said that man's jaws dropped listening to the background of the twins. And so he was engaged. He was listening. He was making them answer. He's making them do what they had to do. Friday come, that man started off good, but he had a whole switch. And I'm telling you that somewhere in there,
Right.
somebody changed something. Somebody did something. Somebody made some calls. Well, we know one person made a call, but other people made calls. Other people made visits. That courthouse cleared out as far as the other dockets and the other courtrooms were pretty quick. Them folks was going about there in between 3 and 4. So the only people that was out there was us. And I'm telling you, when them folk came up out of there, everybody was happy and excited. But I'm thinking to myself when I started talking to them, something ain't right. And there was some people out there sitting with us, and we all said the same thing, that okay, it's not feeling right. When he got recused, we felt it before they said it. I'm just gonna tell you that sitting out there, we felt it when I saw the report come from JD Miles, because where I got it from, of CBS 11 News in Dallas. I went and told everybody, and everybody was screaming and hollering. We was online. You felt it before. In this moment, when we were sitting out there, you felt the finite moment on the other side. Is what I felt on Friday. And people kept asking me, what do you think? What do you think? I don't know. I'll let you know. He said he'll let us know tomorrow. And I just left it at that, and I went on because we felt it. And then as I went that night to go check before I went to bed, you heard it. I saw the messages from the moment with Jeff sending to Dominique Alexander. I saw that. I saw them people saying all those different things, and I was like, okay, yeah, this sounds like back with the verdict, with the trial itself, because you could feel it.
Right.
And so that's just kind of where we were and where we are.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. Because I happened to be looking at my phone and I was like, wait a minute, he already recused. It happened quick. Like
Yeah,
quick. I'm like, wait a minute. That was quick. That judge got in and out. He was gone, like in and out.
yeah,
Yeah, and I can say too, I think I started to kind of like be like, I don't know how this is gonna go, because it seemed like it was going too long about stuff that really had nothing to do with the reason that they were asking for the new trial. You know what I mean? It just seemed like
hmm,
they needed to show how they covered these sort of the what was it, the Waller findings.
yeah. The Waller findings. Yeah,
If you can't provide proof as to you did it, then you didn't do it. And that was all they were talking about. So it was easy to me to understand, but I was like, I don't understand. Like, what are they talking about? Like, they're talking about
yeah,
this and that. And it just seems too all over the place, especially that he had to make a ruling by Monday at the very latest. So I
yeah,
just didn't get it. But
yeah. I hear you. But yeah, that's gonna be a good live tomorrow. I'm gonna definitely tune in.
Correct.
because those guys are excellent. So I definitely tune in so I can hear that.
All right. Well, thank you, Dwayne. But make sure you come back when you find out that other information that you were talking about.
Most definitely, you're definitely welcome. I definitely will.
All right. See you later.
All right, most definitely. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.
Bye bye. All right, guys. I pretty much let me just look at some of you guys' super chats. Now, Milton Brewer, I didn't read yours because it looked like you was going in a little bit, so I didn't even read that. But let me go back. We got Gabby, we read yours. And Milton Brewer, you said never been justice. It's always been about getting free labor. We were equal before British ran out of laborers. Then they invented YT and black only. YTs can be citizens, make us slaves, and trick poor YT. Okay. Thank you for your $10 super chat. We got Chili Willie. Thank you for the 30 jewels. We got Chili Willie. Thank you for the 20 jewels. I feel like I need to get my eyes checked again because I be squinting with glasses on. Chili Willie, thank you for the 30 jewels. Y'all make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. We're going to start at about 2:30, 2:45, and they'll be on at 3 o'clock. So make sure you guys join. We have lawyers, the Not Guilty Boys. They'll be here tomorrow. Chili Willie, thank you for the 6 jewels. We got Milton Brewer back again. They convinced poor YTs that they are better than even the black folks just to keep robbing them as well. X said this would never work, only hidden. Thank you for the $5. Chili Willie. I'm saying Chili Willie. It's Chili. I'm sorry. Chill Will. You see, I need to get my eyes checked. Chill Will. Thank you for the 10 jewels. I'm talking about some damn Chili Willie. It says Chill Will. Thank you for the 100 jewels. Thank y'all for your support. We got Chill Will again. Thank you for the 10 jewels. Chill Will, you all in the chat. Thank you for the 30 jewels. Again, I need a calculator. Chill Will, thank you for the 10 jewels. The Real Versace in the chat. Thank you for the 10 jewels. Milton Brewer. I hear you, brother, but listen, it don't matter. We can't win in their game. They just changed the rules. They know this already. They can break any laws. I agree with what you're saying. And I think what he was saying from his standpoint, and honestly, I feel like they would have found something anyway. So, but I kind of understand what he was saying because this is a case about Karmelo. We can't be inserting ourselves. Like we really can't be inserting ourselves because anything we do, they will make a problem out of it. Okay. Chill Will, thank you for the 100 jewels. Chill Will, I really need a calculator. Thank you again, Chill Will, for the 100 jewels. Chill Will, again, thank you for the 10 jewels. I need to add that up. Milton Brewer, you too. Thank you for the $10 this time, but you've been all in the chat donating. I appreciate it. We cannot keep allowing this to keep going. Even in the wars, other countries ask why we keep fighting for people who oppress us. If this ain't the case to overturn what one is, that's set aside for YTs. Okay, but as it relates to the Carmelo Anthony case, he still has his appeal, just so you guys know. And again, come back tomorrow because the Not Guilty Boys, they will explain it to you guys. Chill Will, thank you again for the 10 jewels. We got the Real Versace again. Thank you for the 10 jewels. Milton Brewer again. I respect your opinion, but facts say it don't matter. Hush is what you pushing. Shut up and allow this ain't a one-time case. Most cases don't even make media, and some results proven facts, brother. So I think what they're saying, or what I guess the court, and see, here's the deal too. My situation with the court is if you're going to call out people, you should call out everybody. But of course they didn't do that. They only called out specific people. Now, as it relates to, I don't know exactly what motions he was filing, Cass King. I don't remember. From my standpoint, I thought the motions that he was filing had something to do with getting different things released in the case. From what that's from my understanding. I know I did try to reach out to him. I'm not sure what was going on, but I didn't hear back. So somebody said I should invite him on, but I mean, I wasn't able to reach him. Chill Will, thank you for the 10 jewels. We got Angelia Hightower. Thank you for the 10 jewels. And Chill Will again in the chat. Thank you for 10 jewels. Thank you again for the 30 jewels, Chill Will. Again for another 30 jewels, Chill Will. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Milton Brewer. All this faith, but no works. Begging for something for 400 years is unacceptable. We owe our ancestors the works right now while we are now capable. I agree. I'm right with you. Milton Brewer, again, thank you for the $5. No, we need to bring out the pause, not the pause. We need our own system. Only way. Native can have their own. Is it Native? Native can have their own. We can too. We have the data and still trying to make sense. Thank you for the $5. Erica Hayden, thank you for the $2 super chat. Nisi, you should get Chris King point of view. Like I said, I tried. I don't. I did try, but anywho. Milton Brewer, Dwayne, you must go read more about the history before America's independence, and why they even fought for independence. Then you won't have these views. So let me kind of tell y'all something. So I didn't read this while he was there, because when I invite people on, I don't mind you asking questions, but just ask them in a way that it at least seems to be, a little, you got to be respectable with your questions. Okay. So when I invite people on, of course, ask them questions, but you can't be saying, Dwayne, you must go read more about the history. What's wrong with you? But thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. Nisi, he's not the scapegoat for their decision. Come on. So I agree. But unfortunately, you know how it has always been for us. Whenever we do anything, they will always blame. Okay. So of course he's not the scapegoat for their decisions, because people of the community can, do whatever it is that they do. And it shouldn't be his fault, because you all didn't legally close the court. But the explanation and what Dwayne was saying is, because it happened, now they're going to use that. So of course he shouldn't be the scapegoat, but that's what they do. Cynthia, let's see what was he filing? I'm so confused. Cass King, this is not about you. So the last thing he filed was a cease and desist. So, since his name was mentioned, he filed a cease and desist. Good question, Cynthia, because again, I was under the assumption that what he was filing was to get documentation that they had concealed from the public. Good question. I will have to go through my emails. I'm sure he did send me some stuff. Maybe I just didn't read it like that, or assume that whatever it was, but I may have some stuff in my email. I have to go back and look. Good question. Miss Odie, great show. Thank you for the $5. Milton Brewer, thank you again for the $2. Yeah, dude did say that's the way we do stuff in Texas. Exactly. So again, they pretty much admitted to what they did. That's why we know that it's this good old boy system, because there's no way that Karmelo shouldn't have got a new trial. And again, I don't give a damn what they say. I'm with what y'all saying in the chat. I feel like blaming content creators for being nosy or filing whatever documents. How the hell you blame Karmelo for that? Karmelo don't even know who the hell King Cass is. He don't know who Tiffany. He don't know these folks. But that's what they do. Yes, he said this is what we do in Texas. Okay. What else y'all saying? Milton Brewer. Right, Keisha, it's the same play when they have no facts, then they play on feelings. Yeah, so I mean, I feel like again, they're gonna find anything they can to say, oh, we did it for that reason. But I just want y'all to understand. Karmelo did not get the new trial. The law was still broken because the law says you cannot close the court without having a hearing. I don't understand why he didn't get another hearing, but I feel like I do because we got the good old boy system. Now, all of this information is going to be compounded now into his appeal. He has absolutely great attorneys, but y'all have to understand, you can have an absolute great attorneys or attorney, and the judge can still decide to go another way. So I just want y'all to know that. But we're still here to support Karmelo. I don't give a damn about no text messages. And Lord forbid, people running around here making videos talking about Karmelo did stuff when he was 7 years old. You have to be really ignorant and you need to get your damn head examined. And if you a woman on here talking about Karmelo didn't like black women, that's his choice. He didn't like your old ass anyway. So I don't understand why grown ass women run around talking about Karmelo didn't like black women. Are you okay? That is really stupid. I wouldn't give a damn who he liked. Why do I care? I just don't understand, folks. They really need to get some help or take their meds, okay? Milton Brewer, nor a pretrial. This is absurd. Yeah, thank you for the $2. Dorothy Sanders, are any surprise at the white murders of Nolan? Right, got exactly. It's always about race, Dorothy. It's always about race. But I'm going to get on up out of here, guys. Like I said, I just wanted to jump on here. Make sure you guys are here tomorrow at 2:30 or between 2:30 and 2:45. And we're going to get started promptly at 3. We're going to have the not guilty boys. They were actually in court and they're just going to run through everything. Okay, so we're going to have them tomorrow. And we're going to talk about this case because they were in court. They're very familiar too with the attorneys that, you know, are helping Karmelo. What are y'all saying? Exactly. Grown ass women making videos talking about Karmelo didn't like black women. You act like they act like Karmelo is their age. Why would my old ass be on here talking about Karmelo didn't like black women and I'm 51 years old? I don't give a damn what Karmelo like. That is weird for me to even have a problem with that. Karmelo is young enough to be my son. Like, I don't give a care about that. It's weird. It's very weird. Grown-ups, just stop. Thank you for your support, Milton Brewer. Well, y'all, I'm going to get on up out of here. And we still supporting Karmelo. Okay, I don't give a damn if he don't like women that wear wigs or girls that like who cares about any of that? What kind of weird shit is that? Oh, he said he don't like people, black women with wigs. Y'all, the folks is crazy. Okay, make sure you guys are liking the video and I will see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for your support.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening. Go on. Yes, I'm typing it all down.
Clear, spilling tea, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. I don't lies right here. Spilling tea, no fear. I'm still here. Da 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 da. no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to Lakeysha Keysha, my dear. Hey, I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here.
Stretch words like
Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. Make sure you subscribe to the Lakeysha Keysha channel.